Lilongwe city became the capital of Malawi in 1975. The intention then was to move the capital from Zomba, which was a colonial city, and the government that time wanted to prove that an independent state can develop on its own. But more importantly, they focused on having the capital city in the center of the country, because Lilongwe city is about midway from Mzuzu and Blanta in the south. So it is named Lilongwe basically because there's a river passing through it called Lilongwe. And over the years, it has been growing very rapidly, especially in the first years of its establishment. We had the growth rates of sometimes 15% per annum. Even though that has gone down to about 4% now, it still is a fast growing city in this country because of the attraction that it has as a base of the government. So in 2005, there was another impetus when the then President Bingu directed that all headquarters of government could move from Blanta in the south. And that has increased demand for housing and also associated informal settlements. Lilongwe city has many, many challenges that it is encountering. Some of them are technical, others are governance related. But from my own experience, I would like to pick out the issue of access to land. The people who would travel to Lilongwe would notice that there's a lot of vacant land. In fact, all official documents are saying less than 35% of the land within the city is developed. But if you go outside, there's a heavy urban sprawl, and you wonder why that is happening. So it only gives the view that perhaps the procedures for accessing land are difficult, or maybe it's very costly to get land within the city. As a result of that, the majority of the people are seeking land outside the city where the chiefs are the land managers. I also notice also in Lilongwe that there is a very high rate of informality. This informality is not just about housing, but also in transportation, in food farming. So there's a lot of these problems that are taking place in the city, much to the displeasure of the city council. So usually you find a lot of fighting between the vendors and the motorbike operators. There's a lot of conflict because the city council wants a beautiful city, but these people want some livelihoods to be realized. And that's a big issue in the city right now. The one thing that I have personally said before in meetings and also in discussions with my colleagues, the planners, is that we should look at the city as belonging to all the people who live there. The city is not for planners, the city is not for politicians. So this idea of being very angry with the street vendors, being very angry with bicycle taxi operators, being very angry with people who are growing their crops for food. I think if we can address this, looking at the city as belonging to all of us, it could be the starting point to addressing the problem that we are facing. At the same time, I am thinking that if all the stakeholders, both within the government system, the private sector, but also the residents, could be brought together to discuss some of these problems, we can start achieving something that is good for all. Some of the results would be big for the big institutions. Some of the results will be very small for the people who need only a minimum within the city for them to survive. And that will bring up some harmony within the city as all people participate to produce what I am calling a city for all the people. So in this regard, my understanding is that the ACRC will help to generate the data that all these stakeholders can rely on when they're addressing the challenges that are being experienced. And because of the approach that has been taken, perhaps it is the starting point now for inclusivity within the city, to think about the city not as a system, but to look at it as a city of systems. That shows that we can use this as a stepping stone to achieve harmony and inclusivity. Thank you very much.